Welcome to Epic Updates.
Jonas and Ashley, right here.
Yeah, welcome back to our video series. Today we are going to do another two-parter. The last one that we had sent out was really successful, so we thought we would do another one.
Yeah.
And
this was a big one.
You probably have heard
Yeah.
the buzz about, as Jonas has said, like an unprecedented lawsuit that has happened that is really changing the landscape of real estate and how people
Correct.
are getting paid. And
Properties are bought and sold, more importantly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And we're really on the eve of that taking effect. So we wanted to talk about how the lawsuit is affecting both buyers and sellers. So we're going to do two-part videos, one from a buyer's perspective and one from a seller's perspective. So tell us a little bit about the lawsuit, what that means for clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was essentially a pretty unprecedented lawsuit where that was settled out in the Missouri courts, and it was against National Association of Realtors and some of the larger brokerages, Home Services America, which is Berkshire Hathaway, and a lot of the big mega brokerages. But basically the premise of the lawsuit was that sellers should no longer be responsible for paying the commission on both listing side and the buyer side. Did a little research on this. I've been doing this for 20 years now, but I kind of was curious, about the origins of kind of the commission structure and what that looked like and why that looked like and that sort of thing. So kind of did a deeper dive, and being a history buff, kind of, I'm sure boring from what lots of you guys, but anyways, this has basically been the model since 1913. So over 100 years now, so 100 and change. And before NAR was even in existence, which didn't come around till like the 20s. But basically, long story short, is the sellers were essentially responsible to cover the commission for the listing of their property, and also for the buyer side in the event that there was a buyer representative with that. So that's been for years and years and years. Now, where it kind of went off the rails, and I guess the backbone of this lawsuit was the claims were that realtors were, fixing commissions and basically, that commissions were non-negotiable and that sort of thing, and steering clients one way or the next. That's never been the case.
It's literally never been the case.
That's not a NAR policy, National Association of Realtors policy. That's not an Arizona Association of Realtors policy. That's not our board, ARMLS, Arizona Regionalist. That's never been a policy. That's not written anywhere. Literally the only shred of that would be you have to offer compensation in order to be in the MLS. What is compensation? Compensation is $1. Compensation is 3%. Compensation is $50,000. It's compensation. So even before all of this happened, certain extreme instances you would see $1 commissions, or you'd see 1% commissions. And obviously there's been discount brokerages for decades, 20, 30 years. So again, if there's discount brokerages, that offer either flat rate or whatever that looks like, I'm not sure how that's considered collusion or whatnot, but not the decision makers. Basically, I didn't feel like it had grounds when this came about. I thought it was a frivolous lawsuit, wasn't going to go anywhere. To my shock and dismay, and I think everyone, it did. And basically is what it boiled down to, is the dollar amount for the lawsuit was so extreme, so significant, multi-billion dollars, that the option that National Association of Realtors had would be to continue to fight it and lose. And hypothetically, if they did lose, it would be insolvent. It would essentially implode and fold the National Association of Realtors, which NAR, which we abide by all of our code of ethics and all the rules that basically outline conduct for agents and whatnot. So they made an executive decision basically to settle. So the settlement was substantially less, but it was still a large settlement. So the optics aren't good, because you're like, oh, you lost the lawsuit, and they're like, well, we settled the lawsuit. But the spin in the media, which we love, is
court of public opinion.
Court of public opinion is we did not. We lost significantly. So it is what it is. What that means moving forward is basically a word that I would say to get familiar with is uncoupling, and what that means is uncoupling of the commission. So whereas before, historically, commissions have been seller paid for the most part, and that would basically be structured in the form of a listing agreement with your seller, and you would offer what compensation you're offering to the buyer's agent. 6%, 5%, what flat fee, whatever it is. Now that's detached, so it would be the listing agent's brokerage. It would basically be offering or issuing the whatever the commission structure would be, which would then be advertised in the MLS and that sort of thing. Fast forward, because I'm getting a lot of questions. There's a lot of people getting wrong information. They're like, oh, so we don't have to pay commissions anymore. I'm like, well, technically you never had to, really. I mean, unless it was $1 or a penny.
Sure.
But no, that's not the case. You're not obligated as a seller to pay a commission. Never have been necessarily.
You never were.
Obviously had for sale by owner options. You know, lots of different scenarios. But as what this means now is basically it gives the seller opportunity to say, hey, I'm only going to pay the listing agent. Buyer's agent, they're on their own. However they get paid, whatever that looks like. That's option one. Option two is par for the course, which I think is probably more or less where we're going to see most listings fall into this category, but time will tell. So we'll probably do an update video as kind of the dust settles, where they'll still be able to offer compensation to the buyer's agent. It'll no longer be structured on the listing agreement, though. It's going to be a completely separate document. We went to a training on this. There's 18 new documents that are spinning off of this. 18, because we don't have enough paperwork.
I know, right?
But there's really only 4 that are really going to be the kind of meat and potatoes applicable ones, and one of them is that document. It could also be a hybrid model where the sellers, you know, pay a side, the buyers can also pay a side. We'll dive more to the buyer's side on the other video, and it's going to be negotiable too. So if they're not hypothetically offering a commission, it could be a negotiated item where they write that in the contract. They could boost the sales price, you know, assuming the property is going to appraise. You know, there's lots of ways to do that. So, and then the big change is that the commissions are no longer going to be offered on the MLS. So whereas before, with all the information, you know, transparency, visibility for, you know, buyers, sellers, agents, whatever, that's basically where the commission lived. It can now no longer live on the MLS. So it can live on outside third-party websites. It can live on brokerage websites. It could be telephone conversations. It could be flyers. It could be, you know, sign writers on the sign. It could live anywhere else,
but not in the MLS.
The MLS. So that's it. I mean, that's kind of really the meat and potatoes. You know, I mean, time will tell. I'll kind of dive into kind of the potential ramifications for either side on second part of the video, but just kind of wanted to give you guys a general overview. This is technically supposed to take effect August 17th per the settlement. Our MLS is actually initiating it sooner, so in 2 days on August 1st is when this goes into effect. So everything's going to be changing from this part moving forward. If you have any questions about this at all, we didn't cover it, or want a deeper explanation, or just kind of a, you know, scenario like how does this, you know, in my instance, how does this affect me, feel free to reach out to Ashley and I as always.
Yeah, as always, just let us know what you need. We're gonna just have to give each other some grace as we kind of learn all the new things and new things come out. But as usual, we're here to really advocate for you. So if you need something, just let us know.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.